The group Human Rights Campaign is calling on the incoming Biden administration to create accreditation regulations of religious schools that would enforce acceptance of so-called transgender rights. Among its recommendations for the Department of Education is clarification to language in the Higher Education Opportunity Act to specify that agencies do not have to accredit religious institutions that, quote, do not meet neutral accreditation standards, including non-discrimination policies and scientific curriculum requirements. Ryan Anderson, Senior Research Fellow at the Heritage Foundation and author of the book When Harry Became Sally, Responding to the Transgender Moment, joins me now on Skype to take a look at this. Ryan, welcome back. Good to have you back on the show. Let's talk a little bit more about this proposal. If it were implemented, what could that mean for religious schools, and what might we see?
Sure. I mean, what this would really mean for religious schools is their ability to carry out their mission, to educate the next generation of Catholics in accordance with their beliefs. And this won't just be for Catholic schools, but Orthodox Jewish schools, evangelical schools, Latter-day Saint schools, anyone that believes we're created male and female, and that male and female are created for each other, would be at risk of, the agenda that the Human Rights Campaign is putting out. And it's a misnomer. They call themselves the Human Rights Campaign, but they're trying to undermine the human right here to the free exercise of religion and to a sound understanding of the human person and our embodiment as male and female.
Ryan, how does the Supreme Court's Burgerfeld ruling factor into all of this?
Sure. I mean, part of the argument here is that Burgerfeld was the Supreme Court redefining marriage as a legal matter under the guise of, the Constitution somehow requires a new definition of marriage. It was judicial activism. But the claim was that this was just about the government's definition of marriage. The demand now being placed upon a future Biden administration is that anyone who doesn't accept the new definition of marriage is, quote, discriminating on the basis of sexual orientation. And this is where you see religious institutions, schools, adoption agencies, foster agencies, private businesses, or photographers being told by the government that simply operating according to their belief that marriage unites husband and wife now runs afoul of an anti-discrimination statute.
The Human Rights Campaign is calling its policy brief a blueprint for positive change 2020, and it contains recommendations for other government agencies in addition to the Department of Education. What are some of those other proposals that really stand out to you?
Oh, there's a lot in this. I think it's 80-some different recommendations, and none of which requires congressional action. These are all recommendations that simply the administrative state can do itself, including things like changing our healthcare regulations so that transgender medicine would be mandated. This would be like the HHS contraception mandate, but now applying to puberty-blocking drugs, cross-sex hormones, and surgical interventions. And they're calling on the Biden administration to say that attempts to help a child feel comfortable in his or her own body should be unlawful consumer fraud. So they're trying to penalize good medicine and then mandate bad medicine.
Ryan, real quick, before we let you go, what about legal challenges? What do you think we can expect to see?
I think we're going to see litigation throughout the next administration. I think we're going to see litigation on school bathrooms, school athletic teams. We're going to see litigation on health care, not just the liberal sisters. I think that's likely to end up back in court, but also questions about whether or not hospitals have to do Sec 3 assignment procedures, whether or not they may not counsel someone to feel comfortable in their own bodies. We're going to see litigation anywhere where people who are faithful to the truth that we're created male and female run afoul of a new government-imposed sexual orthodoxy.
All right. Well, we will leave it right there. Ryan, thank you so much for your insight. We always appreciate having you on. Ryan Anderson, Senior Research Fellow at the Heritage Foundation. Thanks again.
Thank you.